It's been a long wait between drinks for LXR-02 owners when it comes to firmware. 1.7 was recently released, that is May 2025, but 1.6, the version before that, you had to go back to December 2022. That's 2.5 years since the last firmware update. Now that's not because of a lack of love on the part of Synths, but because LXR-02, as the name suggests, was the second LXR synth, and the original LXR by Sonic Potions was the brainchild of a particular fellow, and that fellow also was the brains trust for the LXR-02 firmware. The good news is that Synths have taken over firmware development, and that's why 1.7 is such a significant release, even though if you look at what 1.7 contains in terms of a release, it's not terribly exciting. There's half a dozen bug fixes, and if one of those bugs affects you, then hallelujah, Lord, you finally got your solution. But otherwise, the enhancements are very moderate indeed. But also, if you look on the Synths firmware page of the LXR-02, there's just a one-sentence explanation, but I think you can read a lot of history into it. It says, "We have taken over the firmware development from Sonic Potions, and after many hours of painstaking effort, we are delivering a much-needed maintenance update." So the update procedure to get 1.7, if you haven't already, I've done a video explaining it all in incredible detail, but in very quick outline, you take out the SD card, replace the image file, put the SD card back in, boot up holding down the data button, and it'll update the firmware. Then you can reboot and use as normal. Now, I've already updated the firmware. When you switch the unit on, you'll see the firmware version in the bottom right-hand corner of the display just for a moment. There it is, version 1.70. Loads your last project, and there it is. So one of the enhancements in 1.7 is the parameter lock info display. It's a very small thing, but let's have a look at parameter locks in general. You get 2 lock steps for any step in your pattern on any voice. So that's not too bad. And you can do it while it's running. But you've got to be on the appropriate page. So here we are, coarse tuning. Let's go here. And if we hold it down, we can see how it changes. Let's change this one as well. Let's go into the decay. So you can only have 2 per step, so we've got 2 on this step here. Now, so let's see what happens when we try to change a third. So what happens is that the oldest one disappears, it gets replaced as the new one comes in. Because we've got 3 parameters here, you can most easily see it in this mode. So you've got modulation, slope, and decay, or modulation depth on the pitch envelope. So if we press the button, then we see modulations 104 and decay is 10, whereas the track default is 71 and 18. So if we hold this step here, 71 and 18. If we hold this step, 104 and 10. Let's change the slope. Now the modulation depth has reverted. In most parameters you can change, you've got to be on the actual page itself to change the parameter, because if you're not, I'll show you what happens. So here we are. Now let's say we hold down this step and we go, I'd like to change the coarse tuning. So you're still holding this step, you go over here, let's change the coarse tuning. So even though we're holding that step, it's changing the coarse tuning for every step. So you've got to be on the page. Then you can change that value just for that step. So most parameters can be affected with a parameter lock. Unfortunately, you can't parameter lock effects values, but there is one interesting thing you can do. So let's play that. We'll go to the output. So let's choose one. Let's go here, this step. So output is stereo 1. Instead of stereo 1, we go effects. And likewise, we could have this one. So although you can't change the effects value, you can change the output. Now, one of the other things which I think has improved, and it improved a long time ago, but it's worth mentioning, that it used to be that in order to be absolutely sure that you were going to save your kit, your pattern, and your project, that you would, or certainly I would, save each thing individually. So I'd go save kit, then I'd go save pattern, and then I'd go save project. And it wasn't until I'd done all those three things that I would feel confident that in fact I'd saved everything. But now you can just go save project. Actually, let's have a listen to this. Right, so remember how bad that sounded. So we go save, whoops, so we go save project. Not going to edit the name. So it'll be saving the project, and then, come on. So we haven't saved the kit or saved the pattern, but we go save project. Let's load a different project. Just so we mix up all the settings so we know it's not sort of cheateries. And then we load the original project back again. And yeah, well, it wasn't that pattern, was it? Oh, what pattern was it? Yeah. I think it was, actually, was it 29? Yeah, there it is. That's as bad as I remember. And the only thing you miss out on in doing it that way, of course, is if you've modified the kit and you want to save the original kit as well, then you'd want to save your modified kit into a new kit slot and give it a new name. Obviously, you're not going to be able to do that if you just go save project. But if you're just working on things, modifying things, instead of multiple saves, you just go save project and everything will be fine. So that's a much more relaxing way to operate. Anyway, lots more fun to come with this fabulous little machine. And isn't it good news that firmware development is now going to be in-house? So I think instead of fearing that this little beauty might be abandoned, I think that's a sign that they're putting real brain power into the LXR-02 to make sure it continues on and improves. So, good news. Till next time, see ya.